is TWiP. Hey folks, in this addendum to the interview I did with Terri Morgan of LumaTouch about the LumaFusion piece of software, this video is basically going to be a demo. I've twisted her arm and convinced her to take us on a deep dive journey into LumaFusion. Terri, you ready? You ready to do this? You ready to dive in and show us all the secrets?
I love doing demos, so I'm quite happy to do it.
Awesome. Well, the stage is yours. Take it away.
Thank you. I'm going to switch over here to my iPad. So what I have here is an iPad Pro. On the iPad Pro, I can do 4 tracks of 4K video and also, 6 tracks. 6 tracks of 4K video and 6 tracks of audio, or I could do 12 tracks of audio. So it works like a normal timeline. I'm just going to play a little bit of this so you can see. I can double tap to make this bigger. Now, if you see this blue dot, that's my finger. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to come and kind of dive into some of the stuff we have going on here. So as you see, I've got this clip of this traffic, and I was kind of putting together a bunch of stuff about traffic for like a morning show sort of traffic thing. So I have this clip. It's moving back. This clip is moving up, and I'm going to add a third clip up here, or down at the bottom there. So right over here in the library, you see I have story blocks, which is a video and audio and graphics library that you can subscribe to in LumaFusion. LumaFusion, by the way, is not a subscription. It's $39.99, and it is a really great value. So it's a one-time purchase for LumaFusion, but we subscribe to Storyblocks to provide it to you. So therefore, that is a subscription.
Got it.
But it's really powerful. I'm going to search for traffic here, and because I'm doing a show about traffic, and you'll see stuff starting to come up about traffic. And I'm going to take this clip here, and as you see, I can mark my in and out. I can scrub through this. I can play it. And I'm just going to take it and drop it down here to my timeline. Now, you see, the timeline works, top down like most timelines do. Not all, but most. And I'm just going to double tap on that clip. So the first thing you see is I can do some color correction on that clip if I wanted it a little cooler, or if I wanted to just do my own sort of corrections here. I think I'm going to go down and just work with the gamma here, just get a little bit more depth to that and saturation. And as you can see, I'm going to move the saturation around. These scopes are real time. So if I'm in play, I can still do corrections here. Now I'm going to go back, and over here you see is the frame and fit editor. So in this frame and fit editor, I'm just going to drag this down to the position where I want it. I'll double tap over here on the X position because I actually just want it perfectly centered on X and down at 126 on Y. And then I'm going to say, okay, when this other clip lands, about right there, I want this clip to land in place. So I'm going to put a keyframe there, and then jump back to the head. And I'll just have this one, I think I'll have this one come in from the side. So over here, I'll just move it off screen, and I'll move it up a little bit. And then when I play, you can see all 3 things sort of happening there. So one of the features that will be coming is what I mentioned was in the earlier thing was ease in and ease out. So I would be able to have that come to a nice slow stop. And also I could have it curving in as far as position goes as well.
Instead of sliding in and coming to an abrupt stop, it'll come in and sort of slow down and stop.
Yeah, gently land. Now, there's other editors here. We have a speed editor. We have lock and load stabilizer, and we have this color and effects, which I showed you a little bit of. But in here, you can import your LUTs or use, like, say if you shot with Filmic Pro, you can get the Filmic D-Log LUT and just apply it by tapping. You can have all these sort of crazy effects. I'll just turn on one edge mix. So down here, just on this clip I'm working with, I have added this edge mix, right? Yeah. So I can adjust the radius or whatever. This is all real-time effects, and I can keep layering these effects up as long as I want, and it will just keep adding them on. It will tell me if I have gone over, when this meter up here turns red, it'll say, okay, we're not going to preview that anymore. You can still add it, but the preview is going to be a little jumpy because you've really added a lot of effects. But as you can see, I haven't even added enough to create it. And then these effects here can be moved
Terri,
around.
What are you on? Are you on a M1 iPad or a lower model?
This is not an M1, I don't think. It's just an iPad Pro 12-inch.
Cool. That's the one I have. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so if you notice, I'm going to add one more effect here just so you can really see how this changes things. So now I've got a twist, the edge mix, which I'm going to turn up a little so we can see it. And then we have the zoom. So if I close all these, I can grab this zoom and bring it to the bottom, which is going to change how that effect works. All of those effects are still in there, but they are shown differently now. So if I bring the twist down to the bottom, you can see that. So combining these effects is super powerful, super fast, and obviously really fun. You also have a keyer over here where you can do green screen and so on. I just want to have my normal stuff because I'm going to add a title, and I didn't think that looked terribly good. I mean, it was just a demonstration. So I'm going to just leave my color correction on, and maybe let's just leave the edge mix so we have something fun on there. And then I'll go ahead and add the title. So I'm going to go over here to my titles. And there's a bunch of presets that are already made, or you can make your own presets and store them in here. So I have this one, which is just what I call my traffic bug. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to double tap on that, and that will take me into the titler. And as you can see, we've got different shapes here that make up this title. Those are all just things that you can add yourself. So I'm going to go into the text and double tap on the text and write traffic. And then I'm going to tap on that blue part of it, and I'm going to see if I can capture, I've kind of covered up most of the red here, but let's see if I can get in there and get some nice red from the screen so it matches something. And on titles, you can also add all those effects and keyframing. So I'm going to go over to the frame and fit editor and make this little bug about where I want it. And again, I can keyframe that in. So that's 1016. So about at 116 or so, that would be a 1 second move. I'm going to put that there, jump to the head, have this come on from the bottom since the traffic came on from the left. And this is done. Like, I don't have to render or do whatever. This is just done. So when I go back to the timeline, it's here, and it just is playing and scrubbing just completely normally. There's just a lot of effects you can do in there, and I think that's just one of the added joys to the way the timeline works. But just a quick look at the timeline here, you can see these little tiny white lines that are at the beginnings of the clips. Mm-hmm. And that means they are linked to the main clip. And I'm in insert mode, which you can see over here. So if I trim this, all that stuff is going to come with me. I don't need to worry about it. But if there was something I didn't want to move, I can go to this clip and unlink all the clips that are associated with it. And now I'm trimming. I'm going to zoom out so you can see. I'm trimming, but those clips aren't moving. So it's just a super powerful way of looking at the timeline in kind of a horizontal and vertical view at the same time, and figuring out, okay, now I want this, therefore I'm going to unlink, or I'm going to link, or I'm going to be in overwrite mode. So for instance, if I wanted a black hole there, I would simply put it in overwrite mode, and now I have a black clip.
Wow.
And if I wanted to replace that, yeah.
Go ahead. That's how the magnetic timeline works on Final Cut, kind of, right? When you're in what is it, position mode, I think it is. It'll leave a slug there if you move.
It will, and we can replace that. So if I wanted to replace that with, I wait till I get this red, and now I'm gonna keep timeline duration. Now I've put a clip into there. So. Yeah, it's kind of like Final Cut, but I believe, unless things have changed since I last looked, that this ability to link and unlink clips to your main clips, and have that freedom to like, for instance, go into the mixer and adjust a whole track of audio. So if that audio was too loud or the whole track of clips was too loud, I could use the mixer. I can go into something and turn off the viewing for a certain track. So yeah, it's a super powerful model. I love it. Anyway, I want to quickly, before we run out of time, go ahead and start a new project. And this is going to be my multicam project. So I'm going to go over here, and I know I imported some stuff from Dropbox, and it's in here. Okay. So with multicam, there's a couple different ways that people use it. One is you have your master audio recording, like it's the band or the live mix that's gone through the desk and is the perfect sound. And then you might have sound from different, close-ups in that music video. And then there's another way, which is I have 2 or 3 cameras, and I'm doing interviews, and I want the audio to come with each of those clips. And so, or maybe you want the audio from camera A every time you cut to B and C. So those are things that we're working to make sure that you can do. Right now, I'll just go ahead and start. I'm going to multi-select. So I'm going to select one of my clips and then just run my finger over here to select the rest. And I'm going to add a multicam clip. So right away, it's synchronizing those clips based on either the audio or the time code. In this case, I know it's audio because I don't have proper time code on these. And then I'm going to take my master audio and drag it up here. And it's going to synchronize that one clip. And you see they're not quite even. They were all started at different times.
Yeah.
And if you look down here, I'm going to scroll down. So we've got all 12 clips. And this clip is starting kind of late. But if you look at the waveforms, they're all in sync. I'm just going to have the audio from my master audio, this one, be turned on and the rest of them muted. And then I'm going to go and switch. So I'm sitting at the head of my timeline. I'm going to close those. I'm going to jump to I was at the end. I'm going to jump to the head. And then as I play, I'm going to start with this one because that one I can see is already available. And then as I play, I'm going to jump. I hope this isn't too loud. I can't hear whether it's too loud. Is that too loud for you?
It's a little loud.
Okay, I'm going to turn it down.
Yep.
That better?
Yep.
So as I cut, you can see those cuts registering down here on the timeline.
And you're just tapping on the icons that are playing above the timeline, right?
Yep, I am.
Wow.
And then once I'm done with this, this is kind of a long clip, so I won't do the whole thing. But up here, right below the preview, you see all those lines. I can see what's coming and going. If I had a lot of different clips stopping and starting, I could see, there's a clip on camera 4 that I'm going to want to be getting to pretty soon. But anyway, so when we're done here, I'm going to go to the editor and look at what we've got. Is just this edited clip. There's where I was talking a little bit. And here's the switch. So I can just go back and play that. Sorry, it's really loud again. There we are.
That's amazing.
And now say, okay, this clip is on there way too long, I might say to myself. And so I will just go back to switch. I'll find where I want to cut. And I can see it's camera 4, it's yellow, and camera 4 is yellow, and it's labeled. I'm going to want to see the drummer here instead. So I just tap there, and now it cuts to the drummer until the next clip. Or if I wanted to replace a whole clip, I would just jump to the cut point, and maybe, okay, I want to see the overhead shot now. And you're done. So now the things we're working on are the really kind of more complex things like, okay, I want the audio from this camera, but I want, the master audio as well. And there's all these people are using multicam in such interesting ways that, through our usability testing, we've learned from our customers, well, actually, I want it to do this. Can you do that? And so we're going back and back to make it what it needs to be like super powerful and fun. So that's where we are with that. Yeah.
I need this right now, Terri. Sorry. I need it like right now.
It's fun. I feel bad keeping it from you.
That's fantastic. Yeah. That changes things. That's one of those things where, okay, now, I can do this, what I'm doing right now on the iPad, or the phone, I'm guessing too, right? You could do it on the phone as well.
Yeah, so far we've been keeping up with development on the phone. It is more challenging because, just to have 12, thumbnails on a phone is going to make it hard. So the phone, we will do our best, and if it's not usable, we will make a better decision. Like, that's the way we work. Like, we cannot tell the future, but we'll do our best. And then if it just doesn't make sense, we won't do it. But our intention, as all of our features, our intention is to always have the iPhone match the iPad 1-to-1.
Yeah.
But as features get more complicated, wow.
Right. Yeah. You can only do so much with, and have it still be usable. That is, would you have 6 tracks in there? You're running six.
I have 12 in this.
12 tracks.
Yeah. So I'll go back.
What resolution? Were those 4K or 1080?
These are, let's see, I think they're 1080. Wow. But you could do what your iPad can handle. So we can definitely handle 6 tracks of 4K on a normal timeline, and it plays back perfectly. So we can definitely handle 6 tracks of 4K in multicam. Also, probably you can do more than that because this is the switching mechanism. It's the only time it has to play back all of them is when you're switching. So historically, what companies would do when they had too many tracks to switch is they just lowered the frame rate of that playback during that time of switching. Right. And it really doesn't bother much, to be honest. So we could go that way, but per device, you're going to have certain limitations based on the power of your device. And LumaFusion, as always, will just manage that for you. We currently manage that by doing things like lowering the preview resolution or lowering the frame rate, and then at time of export, we obviously get the highest res, the highest frame rate, everything that it needs to be, the best it can be. So there's no destruction in there. It's just the mechanics of the hardware, really.
That looks like the way that the multicam feature works. I've done multicam. I've played with it on Premiere and Final Cut, and I'm familiar with that workflow. On LumaFusion on the iPad, it seems obviously more intuitive, right? Because on the other platforms, you've got your thumbnails and you're clicking with your mouse or hitting number keys on the keyboard that correspond to the different scenes.
Right.
But to visually have it and have the video playing in those thumbnails, and you're clicking, it's almost like you're the conductor as the thing is playing, and then that's killer. That's killer.
We think about these things so deeply too. I mean, there was a moment when we were like, well, maybe putting the little thumbnails in the preview in the library makes sense. But I was like, no, because yes, Final Cut does it that way, and maybe Premiere, but I don't want to click on a 9 up because my brain is thinking this way, 1 through 6, 7 through 12. I don't want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's silly in a way, but it's also what makes it fun, both to design and use, is to say, okay, these little things do matter, and they make what we're building both exciting to us to provide that to users, but I hope in the end exciting to our users because they get a new experience with it.
So with pricing wise on this, so is when the feature, the multicam feature and scopes and all those things roll out, those strike me as pro level features, not your average, I'm just going to cut something real quick and throw a crossfade in there. That's people that are doing multicam work. They know what they're doing. Is there going to be an additional pro level fee for that, or is that rolled into that one-time fee?
Yeah. So again, this is something we think about really deeply. We decided that the scopes would just be a free with an update, and that'll be the next big update that we do. It may not be the very next one, if there's little things we want to change before then, but our next big update, 3.1, will have scopes in it, and they will be free. Multicam, I kid you not, has taken us a long time to develop and design and redesign and redevelop. So this is like, we will have to charge for this. but it'll be a one-time charge. We're not going to do subscriptions for, stuff like that. So if you're a person that wants to do multicam, you're probably in this range of people that has more than one camera. And I think it will be definitely affordable for that. But it will be a one-time fee for that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I have a feeling that you're going to ruin people that start, or maybe for the better, right? So that start on the iPad and see the ease of use of multicam on iPad, and then try to move to a different or edit on a different NLE, and they're going to like, well, this is so much harder. Why is it so complicated when I can just where are the buttons, right? So
I mean, there is, with a feature as complicated as multicam, there is a temptation to say, well, everybody's done it this way in the past, so we could just do it that way. But I think I really irritate some of the people I work with because I absolutely refuse to go that direction. It's like, we are a bunch of people that are in love with video. We've all been working in video. Let's find a way that is better and is more fun and is understandable. And, so I often tell people, don't even look until you have a really good idea of what you're doing first. And so, we're not going to fall into the same traps because I just refuse to go there when we're designing. Of course, we use those other products in testing and, just to make sure that we're doing everything that we need to be doing in the end. But for usability and design, we try to go with our heart and with what the workflow demands and what our customers are telling us. So,
Well, you've whetted a lot of appetites for the scopes and multicam feature or the next release. When are we getting it? Is it NAB? Is it after NAB? I'm going to be at NAB, so you can give me a little thumb drive at NAB if you want.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know when our beta test will start for multicam, but it's not I mean, as you can see, it's generally working, but we just have those really fine details that we want to get right first.
Yeah.
The scopes will be after NAB, but they're the first thing that's coming, and I'm not allowed to say dates because we just, every time I do that we get in trouble, and I'm become not a popular person at work. So I'm not going to say dates.
Yeah,
But I am going to say it's the scopes are really they're just waiting to be released, and we're waiting for the details of the rest of the app to culminate around that to be able to let us release them. So
yeah,
and then
well, changing the world ain't easy, right? So, and good, in other analogies, like good things come to those who wait, right? So, and that feature seems really important. I'm glad you guys are putting the effort into it to make sure that you get it right, because it feels like one of those game-changing type features that is going to make people rethink their workflows in a lot of different industries. YouTubers and course creators and interviewers and podcasters are going to start looking at, hey, I have this iPad. You mean I could just go sit on the couch and put in my AirPods and just go to town and edit, and I don't have to be at my desk? That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
I mean, even for it's definitely for stuff like what you're doing, YouTube stuff, or even, anytime. And when aren't two cameras running at an event that there's always more than one camera running. I'll get the birthday party from this angle. You get it from that angle. It's going to make it so easy just to throw those in there and tap, 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 tap and have it cut. So I think it will be from everyone from the birthday party to really professional, like multicam. This shoot that I was showing was 12 iPhone 12s, I believe, that we bought just to test out the feature, and we went and did a big shoot with these this band and these break dancers. It was loads of fun, and so it'll be able to be used for stuff like that as well. So,
I guess I'll leave you with this last question, and it kind of piggybacks on that test shoot you guys did with 12 iPhone 12s. Is that a workflow? Is that a viable workflow now, considering the quality that you can get out of these mobile devices, right? These iPhones and iPads, and are the days of these guys, these mobile mirrorless cameras, are those going away to be replaced by being able to do a production level, beautiful shoot on an iPhone and start your edit on the iPhone and then transfer that footage through AirDrop over to your iPad, kick back, edit it, drop in your titles and everything, and have a fully finished, beautiful 4K, gorgeous piece at the end of the day? Are we there yet? Or are we getting there? Like, what do you think from your perch?
Yeah, I mean, I think for video, we are there. We have companies that we interact with that are doing huge events, and they're like, we need a video for this huge screen at this event. And I don't go to Final Cut to do that. I'm going to do that in LumaFusion. We cut it in LumaFusion. We upload the highest res. Like, if you look at our export settings, you would see, I'll just switch over here. Go back to edit here and export movie. And if you look in here, I can set this to 4K, and then I can set the quality up to 150 megabits per second. So, there's no reason that you can't use that for even giant screen events. So we are there, and like you said, what we talked about earlier, the length of things. This isn't just for short form things. You can do whatever length that you have enough room on your device to do. So my advice is, get a big device with lots of storage.
Yeah, that's the reason. Don't cheap out on the storage.
Yeah, now you can though connect up your USB-C drive and edit directly from the USB-C drive and not store anything on your iPad. So I think thanks to Apple and the things that they've brought to the table in the last couple of years, it's completely possible. Completely. That's crazy. Now for photos, like I saw your interview with Photo Joseph recently, and there's things you do with still photography that are just different. And,
Yeah.
iPad isn't that. It's for this content creation, motion content creation, in my opinion, so you're still going to have all these fancy lenses and raw formats and all the stuff you do with still cameras that, I started as a still photographer. So I really respect that and think that those cameras aren't going away anytime soon. But for video, I just think, we had a blast with that. And, the fact that we could mount all these iPhones up on the ceilings and different places and use little gimbals and all this stuff.
Yeah.
It was so easy to do that compared to if we were using DSLR cameers.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Getting those funny angles inside your coffee cup or whatever, inside things.
Yeah.
Those are, clearly
so much fun.
iPhone is great for.
So much fun. And you know what? I think I said this at the beginning, but this interview, folks that are watching this right now, will have been edited in LumaFusion. So you get a chance to see how it works. So, kind of inception here, editing Terri Morgan's interview inside of the software that she helped build. So yeah, so this will be interesting. Terri, thanks for coming on and doing this. I'm really excited. I'm a big fan of the company. I'm a fanboy of the software, and I'm really excited about the things you guys have in the pipeline. Thanks for sharing that. Thanks for doing the demo. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. I can't wait.
It's going to be a good year. Thank you so much for having us. I really appreciate it. I have so much fun being on your show, so I appreciate that very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, Terri, you have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
This is TWiP.